You want me to describe what this is? This is pure OD redneck insanity done by a dumbass. Redneck Rampage, part 1. I got to talk to you about this one. This is going to be fun. 6.2 diesel. Bit of a piece of crap. These things are alright if you run the guts out of them, but if you lug them around, they do tend to break the crank. This one did. This one did. And here's a telltale sign of the big vibration. Because Ty just bought this truck and drove it home with a broken crank. It made an awful noise, but it made it home.
I mean,
Now, show them the beauty you bought.
this is my 1985 Sierra K35
Dump truck.
So it's actually a 1.5 ton with the dump box, the SM465. So the beautiful 4-speed action going on in here.
So what would a smart man do?
Smells like mice, you know.
He bought a square body 6.2 dump truck with a broken crank. What would a smart man do?
Take his other 6.2 and put it in the vehicle, or Cummins, or any other diesel swap.
But now, a dumbass would do this.
What is this?
Well, this is your creation, son. You're supposed to know what this is.
But you got to give them the deets.
Well, I'm going to insert your detail thing in there after. You can just tell them all about it.
Voila! Turbo 6-liter LS Gen 3.5. So it's got the good rods.
This is a 3.5?
It's a 2006.
Oh.
So it's got the Gen 4 rods, Gen 4 style pistons with the Gen 3 operating system. So the shitty part is an electronic throttle one, but whatever. You know, they're all, when you see an electronic throttle one and a few things, you're kind of on the right path. This one actually may or may not have the better rods. Apparently, according to the Sloppy Wiki, when they have the bigger 13 mil headed bolts on the valley cover, they have the Gen 4 stuff inside them.
Oh.
But this is the right model year to have the Gen 4 stuff, so I believe it still would.
Who the hell knows?
But who the hell knows? It's one of those like...
We'll find out when you knock him out of the bottom of the pan with that big-ass turbo.
Well, that's right. Come on. So the good part about the turbo on this is, well, it's manual. So there's no torque converter bullshit. Like the other truck with the 80E, it would never spool until, you know, you get past that converter that's an active, you know, moving block, you know. The other good part is, the other truck was a 2500, so it was already Hydro Boost.
Yep.
So that all should really just, maybe I have to change that fitting on the back of the pump, but that should all mate right to the Hydro Boost system. Other than that, I put Holley 100-pound injectors in it and just some cheapy fittings and stuff, but kind of came up with this turbo kit idea last night. Square body, you can't really flip the manifolds down and forwards. They're going to be in the frame. The frames are really narrow. So kind of have to go up. So then that means coil relocations and stuff.
This is all recycled from the old turd blow truck.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of decaps, we actually went with injectors this time. But other than that, it's like the turbo's all recycled shit and just some, you know, cheapy flanges and stuff. But yeah, really it's the same setup, just in being the square body.
Awesome.
Let's just get a close-up of this billet turbo wheel.
This is insanity, is what this is. In my opinion, you want me to describe what this is? This is pure OD redneck insanity done by a dumbass.
With intentions.
Who thinks this is... Now, this is a recreation of Ford's idea of an EcoBoost engine. This is Ty's version of an EcoBoost engine.
Yeah, Ford can't make a 6-liter. Well, I can.
So he's going to make this pull as good as a Duramax for a minute.
Till the connecting rods fall
probably
out.
Explode.
But no, it's a cool deal. So
I am very curious to see when you hitch this bad boy to a trailer how long it lives.
I mean, just look at the turbo though. That's a sweet unit. So China turbo, China injectors, GM LS.
Yeah. You didn't even put a truck Norris in.
No, no cam. Stock engine.
How could you?
I know. It needs a cam,
I'm gonna
really.
disown you.
The next thing will be a cam.
Didn't you just suffer like dramatically with that last engine you did because it had a stock
Yeah,
cam?
but that's because I had to build it with a stock cam. I'm not opening this one. La, 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 la. It's like you don't see it, you don't know about it kind of thing.
Okay.
But yes, this maybe one day can get a cam. That'd be cool.
Do you think it'll live long enough to get a cam?
We're gonna find out.
Really? Do you think it'll live long enough?
See, we can be like those guys. This time on Engine Masters.
Let's watch an LS blow up in a square body.
Yep. So that's what we're doing. This greasy hole that we're fixing to drop the 6 liter in. I mean, it is a thing of beauty. Wow.
What are you doing here, son?
I'm building a quickie turbo kit for my square body dump truck.
Square body dump truck.
Yes. Yes.
Why?
It's nice.
What is your redneck reasoning for square body turbo LS dump truck?
Well, the dump truck had a 6.2 diesel in it, and the crankshaft is sort of deciding to leave the chat. So it seems only logical that it needs an engine swap, and in doing that engine swap, an LS seems practical for many reasons.
And what is the practicality of the turbo LS?
Well, towing power, really. You know, if I'm trying to tow and I need power.
Yeah, it seems to me the last time I saw you do this, I got the call. Dad,
Now, I will admit...
can you come down with a chain?
I will admit that in the past...
Yeah, that's some classy welding you're doing there.
It needs help. Maybe a helmet would be...
I think we have one.
You think we have one of those? Because, I mean...
You're going to need a grinder for Christmas.
Oh, good thing I got a whole package grinding now. And to think I'm going to TIG weld that after.
There's going to be a big lump in your TIG weld.
I mean, tact is tact. I wanted to do that.
So you still haven't told me.
I got that.
You still haven't told me what the big thought process is here.
Well, the thought process is...
You haven't justified the need for a turbo.
I wasn't done justifying the 6 liter part. So that, I had this engine from this minty, what I guess it was a 1999-2006 Chevy truck that I drove last winter.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had this 6 liter, it was sitting there. I had these injectors I was buying for the 56 to do my twin turbo LS and that. And in the midst of that, we tried these injectors on my race car for a test. And apparently the flow rating pressure is 60 pounds. So these 100-pound injectors are really like 80-pound injectors. So they're not really big enough to do my 56 project. So they were sitting there. I mean, so those went in here, and then I had the turbo that I bought. It's sitting over there, and it's all just sort of stuff I had. The only stuff I really had to get was V-bands and a few doodads. So,
Are you building an LS EcoBoost?
hopefully it doesn't have... Well, we're not going to have cam issues with this, or oil pressure issues, or the rod bearings that fall out. Well, maybe the whole rod might fall out. But not the bearing.
If this works out like the last time you did this in a work truck,
the
entire oil pan failure is going to be a problem.
Yeah, that happened. I mean, and it really happened when it happened. So anyways, the bad part about the square body is the frames are really narrow in the front. So usually I would want to like down and forward the headers, manifolds, but you really can't. So I went ahead and I ordered a coil relocation kit.
Coils on these LSs are so ugly on the valve cover anyway.
It's so bad. Whenever you do that, then you're trying to fit a spark plug down through that hole. They burn every time you drive the vehicle. So that's not really doable. I've seen people do this and do that, and they just put heat wrap on everything, and it still burns the plug wire. So I'm not doing that. So I got a relocation kit. They're like 4 feet long, so I can come around here to like the inner fender or whatever, and I'm going to have plenty of room to plug my wires in and
They
everything.
usually
like
look
that.
way better up on the firewall.
Yeah, I mean, either or, to be honest. I'm very open. So this manifold, unfortunately, is a rusty pile. So if it stops raining for tomorrow, I'll blast the manifold so I can at least weld decently on them. And just try and shoot them with some high heat or something like that.
Yeah, it's pissing like a cow on a flat rock tonight.
So I had to modify the intake a bit to get these injectors in. I had to grind about 3/8 to half an inch off those rail stands because these injectors are a little bit shorter. These are the Holley, like there's a Terminator X line of or sniper injectors. So they're like a cheapy injector, but they're just a bit shorter than the truck injectors. So we went ahead and just actually, I cut it with a cutting disc and I just finished it with a single cut, like aluminum burr on a porting gun.
Slight massage.
So then the old AN adapters for the factory lines, just simple shit, cheap stuff, but works like a charm. And I did the wrong thing, and I went to Amazon, and they had a bunch of these line kits and everything in stock, the old Evil Energy line kits. So the 20 feet of the nylon AN line and like an 8-pack of fittings was like $75.
What I love is this tack.
And I ordered this $20 tack at the same time because it was $20.
It says right in the first page of the instructions.
Does it?
Yeah,
What does it say?
Congratulations. You just bought the worst piece of crap $20 tack we have on Amazon.
It actually tells you how to install it. And it says you just press buttons. And apparently this isn't a shift light. Apparently this is a warning light. Alarm setting mode. That's an alarm light, right? That's an alarm. You should be alarmed. If you get to that stage.
But it says shift light on it. So
I know,
I'm confused.
but it says it's an alarm. It says alarm setting mode. So it's an alarm, really. And I got this beautiful billet.
No earlier than you get up in the morning, you could use an alarm.
I got this beautiful Holley billet fuel filter. This is the Holley Dominator line of Amazon
Chinese copy.
fuel filters. It looks similar-ish, I'm not going to lie, but it is not, I assure you. So that's wonderful. And I got some other cheapy things. I'm not spending a lot of money on this. Actually, these V-bands seem very similar to like a Summit V-band, actually.
One thing we do have is our introduction
Yes.
of our new line of
Our
parts.
own new products.
These we need to start selling.
So this is T6 flanges. I guess we could do T4s and T3s.
We have them in stainless and mild steel.
On this one, I guess since I'm doing the rest of the kit in stainless, I will use the stainless flange. Mild steels are always handy to have around. Lower buck, cheaper.
We're working on these. We're working on motor mount kits. We're working on a few things.
Yeah. Actually, I'll send some pictures to you, and you can add them in the video of the motor mount kit I built for Dan.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And that you can see kind of what we're working on. Universal.
Those are the clamshell
yeah,
style.
Yeah, it uses a clamshell style mount. So basically, it's notched to go over a tube.
We need to re-engineer that for the old style too.
Yeah, we can engineer them both ways. So, anyways, either way, you can use a clamshell or
pretty much use the same part, just re-drill it.
For sure. Sure. So that's more or less that for now. Also, I'm gonna try. I got the Amazon oxygen sensor action for the wideband because these Bosch 4.9s are such pieces of crap.
You run a separate wideband, eh?
Yeah. So this is for my air fuel gauge itself. This is an air fuel monitor that's separate of the factory because the factory has narrow bands. That's a wide band. So it's very different.
So he gets to see before he blows it up that he's going to blow it up.
Well, usually I get him rich as Oprah.
And then he's got all kinds of gauges here, another high quality specimen.
Hey, that's Bosch. Don't bash on my Bosch.
Bash on your Bosch?
Yeah, don't bash on my Bosch.
Say that 3 times fast.
Bash on my Bosch, bash on my Bosch. So anyways, this is also a little bit China, but actually there's certain things that I find good deals on there. Like these. That's a fuse holder. I'm sorry. This is exactly what is in every friggin' Holley harness ever. It is.
Does it have a fuse in it?
The right fuse. A 30 amp fuse. I mean.
Yeah. What are the fuses there? 40s.
I mean, 40. You get those 40s that are that weird color. And
yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, it actually has pretty good. Actually, I need a 30 for my fuel pump one, anyways.
So we're gonna dump this trash in there tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the plan. I think we're gonna try and sit it in the hole and at least see. I'd like to have this hot side more or less mocked up and have the turbo sort of mounted, and then I want to come up. These things are always dangerous for trying to break the hot side, so I wouldn't mind going ahead and making a turbo mount.
Turbo mount, yeah.
That would bolt down to the frame or something, or even front of the cylinder.
Your engine's rubber mounted, so
yeah, we got all kinds of mounts on the cylinder head.
Yeah,
whatever.
You better mount it right back to the engine.
So we're gonna do whatever we can to make sure it's good and solid. The 6.2's got to come out. That should be fast tomorrow. I have an electric on the frame pump that I had in the old Buick that's gonna go on it, because I could do an in tank, but I need to drop the tank. I need to get that sending out and then fit wires into the tank, and it's just a nightmare. It's better to do an on the truck thing. I gotta empty and siphon out the tank of diesel, so I'll probably hook the electric pump up. I'll pump all the fuel out of it.
Pump it right into my Dodge.
Yeah, or pump it into my other 6.2 vehicle. Either one.
You could do that.
So
the old winch tractor could use some fuel too.
I guess that could use some fuel. So either way, we gotta empty that out. That's going to be probably, I'll have to put a little bit of gas in it, empty it out again, and then I'll have some fire starter.
I mean, you could leave some diesel fuel in that tank. It would slow down combustion and reduce detonation.
Sure. Well, then when I run it at like 8-to-1 air-fuel ratio, when I first start running it wrong, and it's trying to wash down the cylinders, it'll just,
keep them lubed.
It'll keep them lubed, and it'll start chugging like a diesel, and then it'll just make diesel fuel power.
We could put 2-stroke oil in it.
It's Marvel mystery.
All right, we'll look at this.
This is a tomorrow project.
We'll look at this garbage tomorrow.
Yeah, actually, you can show this. This works beautifully on all these stupid ports. 1/4-inch pipe plugs.
Pipe plugs.
Yeah. So like this too, it has that dumb EGR or that gas line that goes back to the tank, the vent solenoid.
Mm-hmm. Pipe plugs and a plastic intake.
Yep, pipe plugs work awesome. It comes factory with a nipple here that you can use to do a map sensor and a boost gauge. So
yeah,
pretty simple stuff. So tomorrow we're gonna make some progress.
We shall see.
Hopefully.
All right.